Good evening. We are Presidio Impact Investors, the Capstone team. Now more than ever, we need early-stage capital to help solve some of the world's most pressing issues: water shortages, lack of access to healthy food, climate change. There is a disconnect between investors and impact. Traditionally, early-stage investment opportunities have only been available to accredited investors. But now more than ever, investors want to make an impact. But they find it difficult to source early-stage opportunities while also diversifying their risk. But as we've seen here tonight, there are many sustainable and innovative ideas. There is also a disconnect between sustainable ventures and capital. Competition is increasing, and the funding environment is constantly changing. Startups are finding success in incubator programs where they have access to mentors and networks. But they're challenged between growing their idea and attracting investors. And here at Presidio, we are growing. We are positioned as the #1 sustainability school in the country, and our ecosystem is bigger than we even realize. While legislation is changing to expand investment opportunities, the link between sustainable ventures and investors is not being sufficiently met.
Presidio Impact Investors connects them all: investors, sustainable business, and Presidio Graduate School. Presidio Impact Investors is a private, for-profit, B Corp investment management firm that provides seed capital to sustainable ventures using both student talent as well as professional asset management. To source deals, first we will approach companies already vetted by incubator companies, and then we will also look to Presidio-related startups. To raise capital, we're focusing on anchor institutional investors alongside the crowd. And in addition to supporting these businesses, we want to grow this Presidio ecosystem. And when we talk about this Presidio ecosystem, we're looking beyond the 700 alumni, 100 students, faculty, and staff. We're talking about partners, friends, and everyone who we've touched with our mission. Presidio is now global. We're in India, innovating green building technology, to our backyard, where we're leading companies like Facebook and Salesforce. But we want to do more than just expand the community. We want to really strengthen its roots and broaden its capacity. And here at Presidio Impact Investors, we want to give back to the school as we invest in the future and prove our concept. So for investors who want both profit and impact, Presidio Impact Investors is a seed stage investment management firm that provides access to cutting-edge deals already vetted by incubators. We're operating in one of the biggest startup communities in the world, and we leverage this tremendous Presidio ecosystem to access some of the best deals. In addition, we're independent of the school, and we believe that this hybrid structure really gives us and our investors access to the best deals with the greatest opportunity for both financial and social return.
So let's all look at the current landscape of existing opportunities. We know that investors today have no problems in diversifying their portfolios. And in recent years, we've witnessed tremendous growth in the sector of crowdfunding. Now, for wealthier and more connected individuals, there are opportunities to invest in high-potential companies at the early stages. And we all know for decades now that the philanthropic sector has been deploying its capital to achieve environmental and social impact. While there are some gaps between these, a number of ventures and entities have emerged in recent years that do fill some of these gaps. But Presidio Impact Investors is forging a new model which operates at the nexus of all 4 of these needs. So to begin, we are raising a fund of $1 million. The largest amount of that will be sourced from an institutional investor, and that will serve as our anchor investor. This might be a foundation like the Rockefeller Foundation or a corporation which is pursuing impact opportunities. We'll also reach out to accredited investors who are individuals who meet certain net worth criteria. But lastly, we really need to have non-accredited investors involved from the get-go, because they will not only be key to our success going forward, but they form the groundswell that will propel sustainability into the future. So this $1 million fund will have a lifespan of 10 years. During that period, we expect to have annualized returns of between 15% and 30%. And we will accomplish this by seeding between 15 and 20 ventures which are operating across a variety of sectors in sustainability, such as food systems or clean energy, water management. And of this initial fund, 90% will be allocated to ventures that have already been accepted into venture incubators, such as the Oakland-based FundCube, which invests in solar technology companies. But 10% of our portfolio is going to be earmarked to Presidio community ventures that meet our investment criteria. So these might include, for example, Tomato Sherpa, or Tract, or Conscious Company Magazine. Lastly, the individual terms that we negotiate with the target ventures will be influenced by their specific needs and their styles. So we might use equity or convertible notes or alternative options like royalty financing.
We are starting conservatively with our first fund of $1 million. It's important for us to see early success of our first round of ventures in order to scale appropriately. In year 3, we'll be creating an additional fund of $20 million. We're expecting 25% of our portfolio companies to exit successfully. In our first 10 years of operation, we expect total returns of over $38 million. And this gives Presidio Impact Investors a net revenue of over $6.5 million in our first 10 years. It also translates to an annualized return to our investors of 15%. As we've mentioned, in order to vet these ventures, we will be looking for companies already in incubators, giving them an early stamp of approval. We'll also be conducting extensive due diligence in order to gauge their financial prospects, their team, and their execution strategy. We are looking for best-in-class ventures who have already demonstrated a proof of concept. To measure our social and environmental returns, we'll use GEARS. GEARS takes into account the impact of both the investment firm as well as the individual investments. This will then create an overall fund rating where we're gauging our impact across all areas of operation. It also makes Presidio Impact Investors more attractive to potential investors. Now, getting these investors. First, I want to talk about securing our individual investors. In order to engage them, we'll be reaching out via social media, publications, and by speaking at various conferences and events. In order to engage our institutional investors, we will be developing strategic partnerships. This involves connecting with decision makers in value-aligned organizations. And one of the great added values of this strategic partnership is that it gives our institutional investors access to you guys, the Presidio network. With over 35 years of collective experience and stakeholder engagement, we'll reach out through this Presidio ecosystem, as well as our own professional networks, in order to gain an early commitment from investors. And the team you see before you here on the stage tonight will be the advisory board for Presidio Impact Investors. We have experience in a wide range of fields, including startups, operations, alternative investments, employee engagement, and philanthropy. We are hiring one full-time investment professional to serve as our fund manager. We're looking for someone who's already had success in financing innovative seed-stage companies. We need someone who believes in our mission and has the ability to evaluate human capital. And also, we want you as a part of our team. So each year, we're going to be hiring 4 student interns from Presidio Graduate School. These interns will help us out with our fund development through deal sourcing and vetting and triple bottom line reporting. It's important for us to maintain this Presidio connection, and we see the student interns as an important way to do so.
We're so excited to share our idea for Presidio Impact Investors with you as we realize the true capacity of the greater Presidio ecosystem. Each of you here tonight are here because you want to make a difference. You're leaders, innovators, visionaries. Many of you work at businesses or organizations whose values are aligned with ours and who want to make an impact. Our ask of you now is to help us make the connections to the institutions that will help anchor the Presidio Impact Investors opportunity for everyone. We have all the resources we need. Working together, we can make a more resilient and sustainable future. Thank you.
Good job.